Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my heroes on a mission, and why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Alice. Pronouns are she and they, and I play Desdemona Heartwood, the gothy, punky, magical girl with a heart of pink.
I am Skylin and I play Kris Whitlock. My pronouns are they and them. Chris's are she or any. And Kris is anything but unassuming, 5 foot nothing with mysterious charm, sassy attitude, and a dangerous sparkle that turns to deadly focus on the court.
And my name is Rob. My pronouns are he, him. I play Eliza Hardwick, our fiery magical girl who is getting pretty frustrated today, and her pronouns are she, her.
I imagine you're pretty frustrated right now because the only lead that you have is a drone that is flying around an area, apparently searching for something, and not much else. But last we had left off, Des was in the middle of calling someone who might be able to find out a little bit more about that. So as the phone rings and rings, and then there's a click on the other end, you can hear a guy go, Des?
Hey, so, kind of random, but, do you know much about custom drones?
Yeah, I build those sometimes. Why? What's up?
Well, we're kind of staring at one, and we wondered if you might be able to help us track down whose it is.
Can you get a picture? Do you have a model number?
Oh, right. Can I try to get a photo of this drone?
Yeah, I don't think that's too hard. It's flitting around and you have to turn on the flash to actually get a good look at it, but you do get that. He looks at the picture. Oh, huh. Uh, this is one of mine.
What? Wait, so you're flying this drone?
Oh, no. Sorry. I build drones for people sometimes. You know, well, drones, computers, other stuff like that. And uh I yeah, this is one of mine.
Okay, so you can tell us who bought it from you?
Uh well, I probably wrote it down somewhere. Uh but I'm kind of in the middle of a project right now. Can I get back to you tomorrow?
Uh, I mean, the sooner the better.
Uh is it like an emergency?
Uh,
Eliza is like nodding at Des.
Yes, it is an emergency to know who purchased your drone.
I genuinely can't tell if you're being sarcastic. But uh yeah, can I call you back in like I don't know. I'm going to look at my stuff and see what I can find. And I will get back to you as soon as I can, preferably in like the next 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Uh, Sorry for calling so randomly, but thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure, glad to help.
All right. While this is happening, Eliza is actually so she doesn't know all that much about drones, but she figures it must have like a limited range between the person and the drone itself. So whoever's piloting it has to be vaguely nearby. And she's like watching it as it flies, trying to get a sense of if there's a point of view that it's flying from, like if it's rotating around a center point or something, orbiting around a center point.
Watching it as it moves, it appears to be it's going up and down the street. It occasionally will go to sort of box in a building because there's a few apartment blocks around here, but beyond that, it seems to be on a pre-programmed path.
Can I roll her reading pattern skill to see if she can figure out the pattern of where that path is originating from?
Sure.
All right, that is a +2, and I rolled a 7 base, so 9 partial success.
Okay. Well, you get a pretty good sense of what the path looks like. It's keeping an eye on wide open areas, lawns of grass, streets, everything outside and around the buildings. But you do also know that drones can be pre-programmed to fly a path regardless of active control or just being allowed to do their own thing. So it occurs to you that it might not be, it might have just been left here to patrol.
Rob knows that that's not quite right, but Eliza does not.
I don't either. But
FAA regulations require that somebody who's piloting a drone keep it in line of sight at all times, and you're not allowed to have them automated.
Well, maybe they're breaking the law.
Well, Eliza would have no way to know that this person is breaking the law. So Eliza at this point is like kind of bouncing on her heels, like she's looking at the drone. She doesn't quite get what a big deal it is and why these two are so fixated on it, but she's kind of running out of ideas. So
Kris, what are you doing?
Kris is looking at the thing pretty well stumped. The only thing she could have really helped with at this point would have been taking a closer look at it to figure out whether or not it belongs to Dez's friend. The researchy, figuring out what's going on stuff is really not her bag. So she's just kind of standing there, kind of looking useless.
Eliza like wrings her hands together and looks at Des and Kris and asks, "All right, how important do we think the drone is?"
I mean, I I really don't think it makes too much of a difference if we think it's important. I don't. Do we have any other leads right now?
Do you want me to go grab it?
Oh,
Kris emphatically shakes her head.
Yeah, you're
yeah.
probably right. Eliza was like about to pull the hoodie off, but pulls it back on.
Yeah, no, the hoods was nice, but that's probably going to get us in more trouble than we want to be in right now. And you are the queen of trying to lay low.
Mm-hmm.
Des, you get a text that says, sorry, taking longer than I thought. Might need to get back to you tomorrow.
Des sighs and goes, "Okay, I think shy of tackling the drone, I think we're gonna have to call it an evening for now."
Mm-hmm. All right. You two want to ride home?
Did we all go in Eliza's car?
I believe we did.
Yes.
I think
If
that's right.
memory
Yeah.
serves, you met at Eliza's place and have been riding in her car since then.
Yes, and there's a blanket full of swords in the back of her car, by the way.
Ah, the sword blanket.
Yeah, gotta have one in your car.
Gotta have the sword blanket. Look, if you're going out and you don't have the sword blanket, what are you even doing? You're completely unprepared. Okay, then yeah, if Eliza, if you could give us a ride back to your place so we can get our cars.
Okay. She looks kind of dejected for a moment and just looks down at the pavement, shrugs, trying to shake it off, and says, "All right, let's head back."
As they're all getting into the car, Kris takes a second and goes, "Bad days happen, Coach. It's okay. We'll pick it up soon."
Yeah, we don't have too much in the way of like leads right now, so we just gotta wait a little bit, see if this one pans out, and we'll be right back at it.
All right. Yeah, sure you're right. She shakes her head, starts driving the other two back.
It doesn't take too long to get everyone back where they need to go. The next day is part of the week.
I think it would be Wednesday now.
I believe so, yes. What are you all doing?
And this is where we're doing our downtime actions, right? Our day off.
Well, there's a couple things going on. I believe two of you have classes at least, and one probably has work. I wanted to ask, are those things you are taking care of?
Eliza works Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so she's good for today.
Okay.
Kris is definitely doing her best to be in classes. She cannot play sports if she does not do good in the schools.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Des, if she's got class, she would just be headed to class.
Okay. That takes up, as much of the day as you'd expect. But after that's done, yeah, you do have some time to take the rest of the day off and get up to shenanigans if you need to. So, did people have anything in mind?
Alice, are you thinking about like wanting to do building friendship between Kris and Des, or are we wanting to do something else but just together?
That is a good question. Let me double check.
Because Kris would have fun with misusing magic, or possibly breaking limits, depending on what that is.
Breaking limits is a catch all. If something else in the game does not fit what you are trying to do, you can use breaking limits to cover that gap.
Might not be the thing for today.
I think if it was coming down to wanting to use the magic, then I think that would be up to Kris. Building friendship, I think, is something that Des would absolutely be down to do.
So how does Des reach out?
She sends the word pancakes question mark and then the eyes emoji.
Kris responds, "For dinner? Question mark. Sure. Period."
That's great. Okay, so do you want Des to pick up Kris, or you want to just meet at the place?
Kris, after saying "for dinner?" question mark. Sure. Period. She says, "Your car or mine?"
Des attacks back. Doesn't bother me. I'll pick you up.
You get very like a K and then two emojis: volleyball house.
Volleyball house. Okay, so she heads over to the volleyball house to pick you up.
Okay, this is dinner, which means it's probably after practice. So Kris's hair is wet, and it is like it's that post shower damp, and it's sitting around her shoulders. Her shirt is getting a little damp from it. As she comes out of the house, she turns around and waves to whoever's still in the house and whoever's staying the night, and says, "I'll be back in a bit."
Veronica and Morgan wave back to you.
Okay, and we're headed to the diner that Eliza works at, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we had talked about. That's also the only place that we know of that has pancakes at the moment.
That's true. Our mental map is like pancake place with monster.
This is a place for sports, place for class.
Okay, yeah. We head there.
Is there music that Des is playing in the car on the way there?
Yeah, I'll let Rob fill in what some like goth or emo music here might be, because I haven't done my research.
I want it noted I'm not at all into goth or emo or music except in context of Eliza, but I feel like Des is an Evanescence girl.
I was going to say the same thing.
That's great. She definitely doesn't hate this music, but again, this is not the music that she normally listens to. This is the music she puts on so that people think this is what she listens to. Okay, yeah. So some Evanescence on the way there. If you want to talk about something while we're driving, we can. Otherwise, we can cut straight to Pancake Town.
Let's cut straight to Pancake Town.
Do you get the 8 stack or the 12 stack?
Yeah, I think that's what Des spends a bunch of time thinking about. She's like glaring at the menu. It's 8, the 12, 8 or the 12. They will eat the 8 last time, but the 12. I think it's the 12 this time.
The protein pancakes have made their way onto the menu. They're printed on it now.
Yay!
Oh, cool.
Kris orders 2 protein pancakes and two sides, one of bacon and one of sausage.
Protein all the way.
Look, this is the post-practice meal. She's got to fuel up.
Des confidently orders the 12 stack, and this is the most decisive you've ever seen Des.
When it arrives, you almost lose track of Kris behind the stack.
I was gonna say I don't even know if you can fit 12 on one plate. Like either
It's
way,
a very tall stack.
It's a
Yeah.
very tall stack.
The fact that they were able to accomplish it is a testament of architecture.
Your server, is, by the way, is one of Eliza's coworkers. Her name is Tesserae. She's a little bit taller than Kris, dark curly hair, has worked here for a lot longer than Eliza has. Already knows about you two, apparently.
As we thank the server and start digging in, I think Kris is trying to see Des around the massive stack of pancakes and just like, how you better eat some of those from the top down so we can actually talk.
Des stares at the pancake tower and lifts one off with her hands to start eating it, and then leans to look around the pancake tower.
Kris is still not able to see Des over this pile of pancakes, so she leans to the side and she goes, "Look, I am as excited about pancakes as you are, and frankly, I'm glad that there's other protein options here as well. Definitely need some fuel after the practice we had today. Was there something on your mind? I'm happy to hang out, but we haven't done this before, so what's up?"
Des goes.
Oh no.
With half the pancake is in her mouth.
Kris grins and starts eating her own food. Clearly, there's no conversation happening until at least half that stack is gone.
Once more, the pancakes have been eaten.
Des, make me a flat roll.
Flat roll.
Roll for pancakes?
Roll for pancakes.
Oh, this is perfect. I can roll for exactly the number of pancakes I eat. That is a 9.
So you are able to get through an eye-watering 9 pancakes before you not only think to stop and come back to the conversation, but before you can actually see Kris.
Eye-watering
all these
9 pancakes is really good. Well, look, they're sitting down, and it's imagine 12 pancakes stacked on top of each other, and imagine short Kris.
Yeah, but Des is really
Exactly.
tall.
This is really tall. That's true.
Oh, she's slouching. I get it.
Oh yeah, always. Okay. Des swallows hard and finally goes, "Oh, I most of the time when we have hung out, it has been because of some horrifying slime sludge monster. I kind of wanted to hang out a little, not in danger."
Kris smiles gently. She has gotten through approximately half of the pancakes in front of her, and a couple of slices of bacon. She goes, "You're real sweet. You know that, Des?"
What? Shut up. No, I'm not.
Chris's grin gets like wolfish and mischievous. No, I like this. I like this idea. Yeah. So we can eat pancakes. We can. Sports aren't your thing. I was gonna suggest a shakeout run, but that's probably not your deal. What do you like?
Snake out run.
Snake outrun. Oh my god. Des goes, yeah, no, running for me would be I don't even know why I would do that. Running from something maybe, or running towards. Never mind. Regardless, I mean pancakes are kind of my ideal cool down method. These are good pancakes.
Good to know. Good to know. You seem to know a lot of folks in town.
He goes, "Oh yeah, I know a lot of people, but a little bit from hanging out with some people, and a lot of it from hanging out with my dad."
What does your dad do? I remember him being in a suit of some kind when we met.
That's a good question. He's sort of like a handyman kind of thing. I know he has like a real job, but a lot of the time when I'm going with him is to help people fix small problems. GM, remind me, what does Desdemona's dad actually do?
He is a lobbyist for a K Street firm.
Okay, I thought that was my mom.
Uh, your mom is a lawyer.
Okay. So I think Des has no idea. Someone has told her, maybe literally her dad has told her what her dad actually does. I don't think she has any idea what that means. So to her mind, her dad's actual job is going around fixing people's plumbing, and that's part of why she knows so many people.
Kris leans back, having finished a few more mouthfuls of food, and says, "That's really cool. It's really cool." She digs out her purse and opens that up, expecting the bill at some point. She's probably preempting it, but she's expecting it at some point. So she's pulling out her purse, and that enamel pin is still on it. She hasn't eaten the sausage yet. She tucks into the sausage patty, is kind of waiting for you to see it. She's just looking at you, kind of over her stack of pancakes, to see if you've got anything else to say.
I think if she notices the pin as well, Dez's response is like, "Oh, there is one thing I do really enjoy talking about, and it is like stuff about us, like trans stuff."
Oh,
I don't know. I just think it's really cool. Like my life was bad, not bad bad. There are people with worse lives than me and all that, but I wasn't happy be- before.
Kris nods, understanding.
So I love talking about it.
Well, then talk.
I mean, where do you want me to start?
Wherever in your story feels like a happy place, hun.
I I don't know. I think for a long time growing up there wasn't really a a happy place to start with. Um I've described it to some people as like there's sometimes life feels like trying to put like a puzzle together, like a jigsaw. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and for my whole life, I hadn't been able to find a piece to the puzzle that would make it make sense. And with with this, I didn't start to see the whole picture until the first time I put on a dress. Don't picture me in a dress because I'm not going to do it again.
Kris's smile that had shown up through eating the sausage patty upon the mention of the dress only gets wider.
Stop it. Stop picturing it. uh,
Look, she puts her fork down and hands up like, I stopped as soon as you told me to.
kind of eyes Kris at that, but eventually like puts her head down and starts prodding some of her remaining pancakes with a fork. Yeah, uh I'm not, I don't know what it's like for you, Kris. I know it's different. Um, but I wasn't like a bad person before, but it, it's less like
Kris squints.
no no.
No,
You're
like I don't.
I'm
I
I'm I'm better now is what I'm trying to say.
oh oh I see.
Um,
I was gonna say, sugar. I don't think you've ever been bad.
I hear that one a lot. Uh, no, I just wasn't very interesting before. I guess that's the easiest way to say it.
Hmm.
Uh, I wasn't I wasn't very happy, and I wasn't comfortable. I I I I'm sure everyone feels this way. I wish I had figured it out sooner, but
She grins. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, look. Um, not being happy and not being comfortable, I'll believe. Not being interesting, though, honey, I'm not believing that for a second. Like, that's just not possible. She puts her fork down and sort of leans forward on her hands on the table, and yeah, I wish I had figured it out sooner too, but I don't know. I don't think about it a whole lot. It's something that I don't know. When I do talk about it, the thing I usually say is that gender is a game and I'm winning. And it's mostly because God, Jesse would be better at picking this out for me than I am. I'm just not attached to it. Like gender is over there, and she kind of like points vaguely across the room. Gender is over there, and it's a really beautiful wedding cake. But I don't want to be the wedding cake. I don't care about having the wedding cake. I just want to look like the wedding cake. And I like to think I pull it off fairly well.
Wedding cake gender. I do get it. Yeah, I do understand. I personally I feel very strongly about my gender. Um, I obviously I'm not. I hesitate to say just a girl because that implies that being a girl is bad. I like to think of it as like girl and.
Kris grins. I can see that. Yeah, and like it's not being a girl is fine, being a woman's fine, being a man is fine. All those things are good and they mean things to people and all that jazz. It's just not my thing. Much like how like looking into stuff and investigating things is not really my deal.
Oh God, I look real talk, Chris. I sometimes I'm like, I don't know about this Eliza girl, but other times she does research and I'm like, dang, thank God. Because apparently the two of us not gonna do it.
Oh, yeah, she rounds out the team real well, don't she?
Yeah, yeah. We've got the moxie. uh but so does she, and she can open a book and not fall asleep. Uh
Oh, Moxie in spades. She taps the table and picks her fork up again.
yeah, I don't know. I like talking about it because it's the best thing to ever happen to me. Like I know that can sound a little crazy sometimes.
Chris's grin has spread ear to ear again. It's the kind of grin where previously maybe it was mischievous. This is her genuinely reflecting the emotion back at you.
Like there are so many downsides to being the way that we are, but God, the upsides. Oh my God. Uh
It's
I
so
didn't
freeing to just be, well, to know who you are in the first place, I think.
it really is, and I didn't, but before I figured it out, I I kind of assumed happiness was just something that,
That other people had?
yeah, I didn't think I could have that. Not like deep happiness. Like I got excited when certain things would come happen, like when a new game I was waiting for would come out, but that would be like, like a day, and then it would be back to being, in air quotes, normal, which was sad and hating myself.
Well, sugar, I think you deserve all the happiness we can find.
She gives you a small smile and nods.
Chris's smile is genuine for about 2 seconds, and then there's a sparkle of mischief at the edge of it again.
All right, hit me. What is it?
What do you mean?
I, look, I have been around my dad before. I know that look.
What look?
Just hit me. Come on, Chris. What's the deal?
She opens her mouth and no sounds come out. She has no idea. I mean, look, I and her face like falls.
Oh,
I don't.
I, I'm
I
I'm
spend a
s-
lot of time not looking inward. Gender is one of the few things that actually made me do that, and I operate on instinct. So if there's a look on my face, I don't know what it's coming from.
I-
I couldn't tell you. Talk to Jesse sometime. They read me better than I can read myself.
She goes, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I I thought
Her grin returns. It's fine, hun.
sorry.
You're a
Regardless.
bit of you're a bit of an easy mark, you know.
No, I've been told.
Actually, are you okay with sugar? Not like as a food. I meant like as a nickname.
Oh. No, uh I sure it's yeah, I'm fine with it.
You sure? Sugar's not gonna. And she like gestures to the entirety of you, like undermine your whole thing here.
He's like, "Oh, right. Uh mm, I don't mind it."
Okay, okay, sugar. If that changes, you let me know.
She nods. I think Des is blushing a bit.
I'm capable of coming up with other ways to tell you that you're cute.
Now she's definitely blushing.
You deserve love and appreciation and to know how cool you are.
I definitely believe that people deserve love, and that's what I'm here for.
Chris works on. She's taken quite some time to eat her pancakes now, and so she's gone back to them with an effort to finish them. She won't have trouble finishing them. It's just that conversation has slowed her down.
Yeah, I don't think it takes too much longer to finish up the pancakes. Des, you are able to demolish the rest of the pancakes somehow.
Chris is solidly impressed.
It doesn't take much longer after that to settle the check. And I assume that the two of you go home?
I think so.
Do they need to roll to build friendship?
Yeah, of course we do.
Right, yes, thank you.
Yes, we will.
I am so
Um,
sorry. So yes, please, having concluded your conversation, please make that roll for friendship.
yeah.
Can I roll? I know a guy with build friendship.
Can I roll charm?
Charm, yes. I don't know about I know a guy.
Okay.
She knows the guy now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But that's not what this was about.
Yeah. All right. Let me roll. Ah,
Oh boy, that is 6 on my dice plus 1 is 7.
6 plus nothing.
Okay, so for Chris, you increase your relationship with Des by 1 step, so I believe you are now friends.
Mm-hmm.
Des, you don't quite get there yet.
Okay.
So you still consider Chris an acquaintance.
Here's my suggestion for the flavor of it. Chris is very coy and hard to read, and like Desdemona did get a moment of vulnerability and honesty out of her, but that was about it.
No, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think despite knowing lots of people and having lots of friends, I think there's still a part of her that worries about people not really liking her. So I think that tracks for why it ticked up for Chris but not for her.
Okay, that makes sense. So Des, you're able to get home. You can see that the garage door is open as you pull in. You have a parking spot elsewhere because there are 2 cars occupying that garage. But as you get out of your car, you can hear voices conversing.
Can I hear what they're saying?
Look, I get that, but you can't keep encouraging him like this. And your father responds, Look, have you seen what she's been so much better since that. And okay, fine. We'll finish this talk later, but I need to we need to have a talk when he gets back home because if they're calling again, then I would like to be there for that. Okay? And there's some muted agreement, and you can hear the clanging of tools on metal.
Des waits a couple minutes before opening the door and announcing herself.
Your father waves. Oh, hey, kiddo. Uh, how was your day?
It was good. I hung out with a friend.
Good. Do you have free time on Friday?
I yeah, I should have free time. Why? What's up?
Well, the museum in Old Town needs some new glass panes put in, and it's faster and easier if I get it done than if they call somebody who's going to charge them a few grand to do that. So I can get the glass in the next couple of days. And you haven't put in glass before, right?
No, I mean, I I'm willing to learn.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, sounds good, Dad.
Oh, your mother needs to talk to you.
Des takes a deep breath, says, "Okay," and
She's in the garage.
okay, walks into the garage to talk to her mother.
Your mother is currently under a car. She seems to be working on something under there. You can see some oil running out from under the car and a toolbox within arm's reach. She doesn't seem to have noticed your entry.
Des sighs a little bit and goes, "Hey, Mom, um, Dad said you wanted to talk to me."
Oh, hey. And she slides out and lays down the tool, grabs a rag, and wipes off the oil off her arms. Yeah, the cops came calling today. They were asking for you.
Uh, what? Why are the cops asking after me?
I would love to know that too.
I,
Kind of gives you a look.
I don't know. We dealt with what had happened at the park. I don't know any other stuff that I haven't done anything, Mom.
I believe you. But they're probably gonna come by again. And I want to be there when they ask you questions, okay?
Des puts her head down, sort of stares at the floor. Yeah, okay.
I'm doing this for your sake.
I yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
She gives a strained smile. Eh, Consider it pro bono if you have to.
Thanks.
All right, did you get some dinner?
Yeah, I was hanging out with a friend. We just ate.
Okay. And she kind of gives that nod that means the conversation is done.
Des quietly slinks, slouches out of the garage.
Kris, when you get home, Veronica and Morgan are nowhere to be seen, but Aiden is sitting at the table, head in their hands, and looks up at you as you enter. Oh, hey, Kris,
What happened?
um, can we talk?
Always.
Um, um, I'm kind, uh, okay,
Chris
so like I'm
Chris
not.
Chris steps in to give Aiden a hug.
Uh, thanks. And they kind of lean into it for a moment before sitting back up. Okay. Um, like Hazel's room. I'm not crazy, right? That there there was stuff there.
Chris shakes her head and then nods her head in response to those questions. No, I saw it too.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I promise.
Okay, but what does working on it mean?
Can the answer to that wait for like 30 seconds?
Okay.
Kris sprints to her room and calls Eliza.
Eliza, let's see, what time of day is it? It's evening, right?
Yeah.
And on a Wednesday night?
Mhm.
All right, we just get this shot of Eliza, and she looks very tired after her day's excursions. And we see over her computer that she closes the game of MTG Arena she was playing to cool down, and just answers her phone. Hi, Eliza here.
Coach, my team is freaking out about Hazel's room being empty. How much can I say?
Mm, they won't believe you if you tell them it's magic.
You sure?
Well, I guess you could prove it to them, but we already have one more person than we really need knowing about this. Look, I don't really know. I think you should just use your own judgment, okay? Think you can handle this, Kris.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, hot stuff. And she clicks.
Okay.
And she jogs back downstairs. Okay, Aiden. When I say I'm working on it, what I mean is that I have some friends who are very good at looking into this kind of thing without involving forces we don't like. And
You can just say cops.
well, the systems of power go beyond them. So, so I've got some friends who are honestly much better at clues and stuff than I am. And I'm mostly there in case they need some muscle. And I am really hoping that we've got something soon where we can get her back.
Roll charm.
Okay. I would like to add that when Kris talks about her being there for muscle, she does flex. Jesus. That was a 5 and a 1 on the dice, plus 1 is 7.
Okay. Aiden lets out a shuddering breath. Okay. I checked. She's also not on the lease anymore.
Kris blanches.
But if you say, yeah, if your friends know what to do and you trust them,
I have literally put my life in their hands more than once already.
oh,
That might not be comforting.
wait, what the hell?
That might not be comforting.
What the hell did you have you been doing? What? Oh,
I mean, you know my reckless streak.
raises an eyebrow. Oh God, Kris, please don't.
Jumping 40 feet out of a tree is not the best decision I've made lately.
Oh my God, Kris.
That's what Jesse said.
If you don't die, I am going to kill you myself.
I give you permission as your captain.
Okay, fine.
I promise I'm doing everything I can. And I'm, as much as my reckless streak might say otherwise, I am being as safe as I can.
That earns a skeptical look from Aiden, but they don't say anything.
My friends know a lot more than I do. I don't like it either.
Well, let's just hope that she's real. And they stand up and kind of give you a pat on the shoulder and then go to their room.
Kris sits where Aiden just was and puts her head in her hands for a little bit. When her hands come away, her face is wet, and she heads up to her room and starts putting together a duffel bag. She finds her best hiking shoes, and she turns on the music that she only listens to when nobody's around. She doesn't care that Aiden's in the house right now. It's okay if they hear that for a minute.
And we see Eliza at last, who has been hard at work all day, even though it's your day off. What have you been doing? How have you been handling the dead ends so far?
Badly. But in terms of what she's been doing, I think the actual way to pursue this is the swords,
Mm-hmm.
because they're the closest thing to a lead she has. So Eliza is going to start this off by texting Faith and saying that she's doing some digging today and asking if Faith wants to come along.
I think Faith says that she is busy today and a little sad face.
Solo it is. So we actually see Eliza in her living room, and she's moved the coffee table to the side. She has spread the blanket of swords out on the floor. And she's got all of them either in their sheaths or whatever, or just wrapped in smaller pieces of cloth to keep Nisa from getting her paws cut. And Nisa's just like looking at her human doing this weird thing on the floor while sitting in her cat tree. But anyway, Eliza is like sorting out the swords, doing a sword sort, and she's trying to pick out which of these are the ones that might actually be historical. So we established there's 9 swords. How many of them look historical to Eliza? And she's got like her laptop open next to this and is checking on it as we go.
By historical, just give me a general description of what Eliza considers historical.
She's trying to sort out the ones that were bought from Amazon or the Bud K catalog or whatever versus the ones that might have actually been intended as weapons at some point.
I think maybe like 3 of them look like they might be historical.
All right, so those 3, and she is going to bundle them up in the fabric, the blanket. The others she's just kind of leaving on the coffee table. And
Mhm.
with these historical looking swords, she starts off by pulling up her Maps app on her phone and searching for a museum.
All right. At this point, I think it's a good time to roll dig.
Okay, well, let's see. Now, I suppose that research would apply for this one.
Very much.
All right, so that's a +1. That's a 9 on the dice, so research makes it a 10.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. There are a couple museums in the area. There's George Washington's office, there's Stonewall Jackson's office, but the one that catches your eye is the Shenandoah Valley Civil War Museum. And the reason it catches your eye is because there's an article in the Winchester Star mentioning that there was a break in there recently.
Yeah, that's definitely the one she's going to go to. We actually get this shot of her looking in her Maps app at the Stonewall Jackson headquarters museum, and we get the distinct sense that she's considering burning it down.
From somewhere down in hell, Sherman approves.
Yeah. But in the meantime, she's going to the Shenandoah Valley Museum, as that break-in is definitely a lead.
Yeah, I think this is very much in the middle of the day. The Shenandoah Valley Civil War Museum is it is a fairly modest building. It is in the middle of Old Town Winchester, which is a walking mall. There are stores of various descriptions, a good number of restaurants lining the brick road. There is a statue out front of what appears to be an old brick courthouse with tall white pillars.
Wait a minute, there's a statue of a courthouse?
No, there is a statue in front of the
Oh,
courthouse.
okay.
And a walk up to the glass doors that seem to have replaced whatever was originally there lead you into the air-conditioned interior. Off to your right side, there appears to be a small gift shop. There's books, knickknacks, some merch. In front of you, there's a desk where a young man is sitting. Beyond him, there's a doorway where you can see like the courtroom proper, and off to your right side, there's some stairs.
He's gonna walk up to the young man at the desk with this bundle of swords in a blanket. For a bit of setting the scene, she's dressed in her usual like black jeans, not the slashed up ones, Doc Martens, And I think she's actually wearing like a polo today, because when she realized she was going to a museum, she figured band shirt was a bit too informal. So yeah, she's in a dark red polo. But anyway, she walks up to this front set of doors and, or not set of doors, to the desk with the young man sitting there. And she just says, "Hi, who would I talk to about that break-in that happened?"
He looks up. Oh, hi. Why?
She pulls down the rim of the blanket to show three sword hilts in, are protruding out at the top of it.
His eyes go wide.
Found these.
Uh, um, okay. Let me call my boss. Where did you say you found those? He
I
reaches for a phone.
I didn't yet, but I'll tell the whole story in a minute, okay?
He calls someone on the phone, and a few minutes late, maybe 10 minutes later, a man who's maybe in his late 30s, early 40s walks in alongside a police officer. They look at you, and the man who is not in uniform is like, you're the lady he mentioned on the phone?
She nods.
He raises an eyebrow and looks at the swords and looks at you. Can I ask how you came by these?
Um, have you ever heard of the concept of a urban exploration?
I have.
Yeah, so I was checking out this old factory, and I found these. They had just been kind of tossed in a corner, and they don't look like they're cheap fakes or anything. So, then I saw the article about the break-in, and I was thinking maybe these were yours.
Do you have any skills related to persuasion?
No, nothing for persuasion.
All right, so probably a flat roll then.
Okay, and that is a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
And he steps forward. Do you mind if I take a look at those? He holds his hand out.
He offers the bundle, blanket, and all.
He takes it, and the cop steps forward. Do you mind if I take a statement, miss?
Okay, yeah, sure. She looks at the cop for the first time.
The manager takes the swords elsewhere to an area marked employees only, and the cop sits you down in the actual courtroom space itself, which is rather well kept. It's all painted in white. There's benches all around and a table inside a railing in the middle of the room. But he sits you down on one of the benches and takes a statement. Generally speaking, what do you tell him?
She does not give the accurate address of the place where she got this because she doesn't want to blow up the whole art gallery thing. Instead, she gives a address that's a few spaces down that is also an abandoned building. She looked one up ahead of time because she figured she'd have to do this.
I'll give you that for your dig success.
Yeah, she tells the address and gives the basic idea of, I was doing some exploring and I found this. She actually pulls out her phone and shows a photo of an abandoned building that may or may not be the art gallery one. It's hard to tell because kind of just a wall. Yeah, I didn't find anything good outside, and then I found the swords, and I was like, oh, this is something. And that's basically it. Doesn't mention being with anyone. She kind of implies she was on her own.
Did you see anything else there? Did it look like someone had been there recently?
I mean, the door was hanging off its hinges, so someone easily could have. It's not like I had to break anything down to get in.
All right, and do you have a way we can get in touch with you if we have any further questions?
Yeah, you can send a letter here, and she writes down her address. Not her email address, but her physical address.
He blinks. You don't have a phone number?
Oh, well, I'm about to switch carriers anyway, so it's going to be out of date in like 2 days, so it's easier this way. Besides, I don't like talking on the phone.
That's understandable, but I am still gonna need something to put on the paperwork. So as long as you have that phone number.
All right, she gives it to him, but it's 1 digit off.
All right, and I assume you give him your name?
Yeah, she tells him her name. She originally just identifies herself as Eliza, but eventually gives the last name Hardwick.
All right. After that, he doesn't press the issue any further at the moment. A bit later, the manager comes back and confirms, yes, these are the swords that had been stolen. All 3 of them.
He gives a sigh of relief and says, "Okay, I'm glad you have them back. I can't imagine anyone stealing swords from a museum."
He just kind of gives a shrug, like, I don't know either.
Just as a question, was this one of the cops who was at the restaurant the other day?
It is not, no.
Okay. I mean, it's weird to ditch them. Do you I don't want to get involved. And she's like tempted to ask about who did the break in and such, but realizes that would mean more contact with cops. All right. Well, enjoy having your swords back.
As you walk out the door, you hear the young man who is manning the front desk ask, do you think it had something to do with those snakes? And then the door closes.
Eliza immediately walks back in the door.
Sorry, did you forget something?
Did you say snakes?
I did.
Can I ask what happened with snakes?
We just saw some probably sick snakes in here. So if you see anything that doesn't look right, just don't get near it.
Wait, when was this?
Uh, this was like 2 days ago.
Does that match up with when we fought the snakes?
No, I think it's a couple of days after, or a day or 2 after.
Eliza is going to get a ticket and go through the museum. She is now snaking out the museum.
I think they're actually fairly apologetic because of as a thank you for bringing the swords back, they'll let you go through the courthouse area that you sat down in for free, but the exhibit upstairs where everything else is, because this is not a large building, but
Mhm.
the exhibit is currently closed for repairs.
Right, because of the broken windows.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, she's going to, as we've established she likes snooping. So she's going to do a quick snoop of the museum, see if she can find any evidence of weird stuff that does not belong. And this is just so far she's sticking to the public access section she can get to.
You are mostly looking around the courthouse or the courtroom area and the gift shop and the front desk, I assume,
Yeah.
because that's all that's available right now.
And I don't want to use that +1 to breaking and entering while there's a cop in the building.
It doesn't seem off. Everything seems to be pretty pristinely preserved. Even the graffiti that is in one corner that they will readily tell you is from the Civil War period.
So, but she doesn't spot any sign of anything freaky.
Not off the bat.
There's a plan forming in her mind, but she's going to wait till nightfall. So she's going to, at this point, head home, make herself some dinner, have that phone conversation with Kris that we already established happened. And then in the evening, the other two get a text in the group thread that says, "Anybody want to come on a snake out?"
Kris sees this text and just barks out a laugh and turns off the music that's been playing for the last hour or so and responds, "Sure, coach."
Des lifts her face up out of her bed to check her phone, sees the text, and says, "Sure, we should be hearing back from Neil soon."
And I think that is a good spot for us to wrap up this episode. Thank you, everyone, so much for playing. Thank you to our audience for listening. And have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.